Hi, ladies, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. I'm here with Laura today. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Jay. Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you. It's Q&A week on Wake Up Wednesday, and that's where we have a woman from our tribe who is growing her business and connects to the heart of this self-discovery process, who comes on live to ask a question. And I'm so excited about Laura's question today because I know a lot of you have this fear or this challenge in your own way. And so, Laura, I'm going to pass it right to you for you to share what's coming up for you today and what you want to talk about.
Sure. So I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. I'm looking to build a business as a wellness lifestyle coach and mentor to help women disrupt some deep-rooted habits and beliefs they have related to their health so they can improve their wellness and their vitality. But many of the entrepreneurs in the wellness field I learn from and relate to the most are decades younger than I am. I really connect with them and I feel like I would like to be part of their tribe, but am self-conscious about my age and fear that they would not relate to me, preferring to work with women of more similar age. I also paused for a few years to take care of my children, and I feel like it may have inhibited my business development. And business experience, in my opinion, is often associated with age. Mm-hmm. So my question is, how can I overcome my insecurities about my age?
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for this vulnerable question, Laura. As I was sharing before we started filming, I think that I went through this in my own way in fearing being too young in coming into coaching. I was featured in a New York Times article when I was 27, and the title of the article was, "Should a life coach have a life first?" And at that time in my life, I had a lot of fears that people wouldn't take me seriously enough or believe that I had enough wisdom or experience to be a great coach and to be a transformational coach. And that article, I really think I manifested it in my life because of that fear, because it was something that I was kind of thinking about and a belief that I had so much that at that time in my career, it was like that was reflected back to me in experiences often. I think that when we believe something or when we're focused on something, that's what we see around us. So we'll seek out representation that our belief is true. You know, that like, I am too young. See, everyone's older than me. So it's interesting because I had the opposite belief of you. I would think like because you are older, you're automatically going to be taken more seriously versus being younger and feeling like people would gauge that I don't have enough experience. And so I learned a lot about the personal discovery process of moving through that belief when this article came up in my life, because I really had to say, how long am I going to let this hold me back? Really? Like, how long am I going to let this be the thing when I know what I have to bring to the table? And I am so passionate about doing this career and I know what I'm capable of. And this age really is just an insecurity for me. So let me work with this. And one of the things that I did during that time was to look really strongly at the belief that I had about age and to start to really re-identify with that and clear up internally. And so I know I was talking with you right before we filmed, and my idea for our session is actually just to take you through a few beliefs questions that are a coaching technique. Maybe you know this technique or use it in your practice. It's one that I teach in Mentor Masterclass, the women to use when a client has an insecurity or a belief. The main thing you want to do is kind of have a new awareness of it as a belief and not a fact. And that shift within itself, I think, can cause a lot of healing to occur because you can soften your awareness or recognize where it's coming from and then notice that the healing of the insecurity is just about choosing a new belief around your age. So are you comfortable if I ask you a few questions that could help us get to the heart of this belief and maybe do some shifting with it live?
Sure, let's try. I'm a little nervous on camera, but we'll try.
Okay, awesome. And if, like I told you earlier, if at any point we need to go back into me just kind of answering the question, we will. But I thought we'd try something fun and different on this episode and just do some live coaching. Okay, so the first thing I would want to ask you is, what do you want? What is it that you want to feel or believe in relationship to where you feel limited in your age? Or what is it that you want that your age seems to pop up as the thing that separates you?
I feel like I should be further ahead than where I am, certainly from a business perspective. I guess part of it is appearance as well. And as I said, I relate strictly from a business and learning capacities with so much with the younger women in the industry that I just automatically think this ship has sailed. It's too late for me. And it's just, why bother type of thing, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like it's, is this part of you that believes this, does it feel like it's something emotionally in you that wants to shift, or does it feel like something behaviorally speaking that wants to shift?
I would say more emotionally.
And so up until this point, what's kind of preventing you from removing that as a reason or an excuse why you can't have your business where you want it to be or make the connections that you want to make?
I guess I feel like it's going to take me so long, and to be starting at this age, it's a huge uphill battle because I'm basically starting from scratch, and I know how long it takes to put something together. I'm also working in a corporate job, so I don't have 8 hours a day to spend at it. So to start from ground zero at age 50 to try to grow, I already feel like I'm behind the 8 ball just in time, strictly time. Yeah.
And can you recognize that it is a belief? Like, does it feel to you like just a fact, or is there a part of you that is able to identify that like, this is a belief? Maybe another way to ask it too is like, do you have any examples around you of women who have started later in their life and are having success in the area where you want to have success? And even maybe older women in their 50s who you do admire for their work or see are rocking it and kind of in the field that you want to be in.
I do, but again, I think they've been at it for quite a long time. Any that I'm not aware of any that have started at my age, either in the online world or just personally. And I think I can identify that it's a belief, but I think there's a lot of cultural baggage that's associated with that. We are a very youth-oriented culture, so we put a lot of emphasis on being young and being youthful. So you get to a certain age and it feels like, okay, well, it's not your time anymore. Your time passed. You had it already, as opposed to you can have it.
What's preventing you from believing that you still can have it?
I think it's just that daunting. This is going to be so hard and take so much time. And as I mentioned before, I stopped working, so I sort of got out of touch a little bit. I'm very behind with technology compared to my daughter, for example. She just knows how to do everything. I mean, it's so innate to her. It's not. It takes me a long time to try to figure things out. So everything just feels like it's going to be a bit of a battle. And I don't know, how prepared I am to do that. It seems hard. It just seems hard.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, I'll just reflect back to you some of the things that I'm hearing, is that it's not necessarily at all about being 50. It's more about the challenge, the fact that it feels like it's going to be hard or take a long time or be a battle or stretch your edges, push you outside of your comfort zone. Do you recognize that? Because what I don't hear you coming back to like, I'm 50 years old and I look old or people are young, but like what really stands out to me, what you're really saying is it feels hard. It feels like it's going to be a struggle. It's pushing my edges. It's going to require me to figure things out that I've never maybe had to figure out before. Does that feel true?
Yeah, I think that's pretty true.
And so I'm wondering if you can recognize those as the deeper beliefs underneath this. I'll kind of reflect back a scenario to you. I had a woman who joined Mentor Masterclass, and at the time that she joined the program, which is a really close sisterhood, there's only 40 women in it, so everyone gets to know each other pretty intimately. She's an amazing woman. She had a whole nursing career. She, at 60 years old, decided to retire from nursing and become a life coach. And this was her first journey into it. And she didn't have the same belief that it was going to be hard to restart. But her belief was, I can't fit into this circle of women because they're younger. So what was funny is right away she overlooked that there were other women in the group very close to her age, but because she was so focused on that, she almost only saw the women that were younger, right? Like she looked right past the ones that were her exact age going through the same experience. And what I learned as I started to work with her is that her belief was actually more about her wounds in sisterhood, and she used that kind of her age as the cover up to the thing that made her most uncomfortable, which was that she had sister wounding in her life. She had experiences in sisterhood and in her family that made it hard for her to feel deep connections. But it was a little bit easier for her to hide behind the surface belief of, I'm just older than these women, so I don't fit in. And so I kind of want to reflect what happened to her as we worked that, and she recognized that she was able to heal. And now at this point, after graduating Mentor Masterclass, not only did she launch a successful business in her 60s, but she also has best friends who are in their literally 20s and 30s that she met in the program, and these are like her sisters now. And when I hear her talk about them, when I saw them in Sister Circle, I saw that like our age really doesn't matter because there's this passion that connects us, right? Like we're interested in coaching and in personal development, and we're passionate about these things in our life. And it doesn't matter your age really when you connect with someone through those points. So I'm hearing that a little bit with you. And I think if you can like look at it as a reframe, is the thing that's not really it's not really your age that's holding you back. It's not even your insecurity about your age. I think that's kind of the surface thing that makes it a little bit softer to face, because underneath that, what I'm hearing is actually the real insecurity is about that it's going to be hard, that it's going to be like a battle, that it's going to take a lot of time, that it's going to be uncomfortable because you're doing things that are new and that you don't understand. And we face that at any age. That what you would want to know is that women who are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s have those exact same fears about starting their coaching business. Underneath, they feel it's hard, or you actually, because of your experience and just being on earth a little bit longer, probably have some natural skill sets and common sense skills that will make it easier for you. And your experience taking time off to be a mother, and what kind of emotional devotion that takes, and learning new things and how to do them as a mother. It's the same ride, right? Like that was hard and challenging and new things. It was going to take a lot of time to raise those kids. So I reflect that back to you, because what I want to invite you to think about is instead, can you paint a new picture or a new relationship to the challenge, to the idea that it has to be a battle? And can you maybe kind of declare today or redefine that you are able to do this with ease at your own pace and at your own time, and to know that that's really the thing that seems to be causing you some angst underneath the potential ageism insecurity, and that you think it has to be hard. And I wonder if that's the belief that we can shift. How is this resonating with you so far? How does that reflection feel, or what are you noticing come up around that?
That is so good. Especially the part about you saying, I already have some of those things just from being here a little bit longer than some of these other people. I never really positioned it or looked at it that way. And it's true. I mean, somewhere I gotta have experience in some of this stuff just by virtue of living longer. Mm-hmm. So I love that. And it's very comforting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for you to look at, the parts that you don't understand or that are harder, at every age in business, we all have that. And we get to ask ourselves, what things feel really challenging for me and take a long time? And where can I receive support around those things, or hire out for those things, or just be more gentle with myself, with my expectations around those things, knowing that there's other pieces that do come naturally to you and that you are better at and are your natural zone of genius and your skill set. So then you can position it and say, okay, when I have to work with technology, this is going to be challenging, for me. And by the way, another thing, age doesn't matter in that. There are some, when I started, I was 27. Technology, I had no idea about it. It was so challenging for me. I had to learn from scratch. So right off the bat, you might have thought, had we met at that time when I was 27, you might think, oh my God, she's 27. She's just naturally better at this than me. But I definitely was not. It was a foreign language, and something that I had to figure out. And I'm sharing some of these stories with you because I think to shift a belief, you first have to be able to be willing to admit that it's a belief. You have to be willing to say, though this feels factual to me, though I look around and think it must be easier for her, and, it's a strong belief that you have is that culture looks to the young as, that we have a culture that seeks out the young and glorifies the young. And really question, can I redefine that? Can I look for something different that exists in culture? And can I look for something different to believe about what I bring at this current age in my life and the potential I have as my position in this business? Because if you do, what you'll do is like my client, you'll stop looking past the things that are right there proving to you that actually you're perfect for this, and actually you're not alone, and actually there's tons of potential here. You'll start to see it if you're willing to look for it, because we get what we shop for. It's like when you go to the grocery store, if you are just doing your normal routine, you go to the same spots in the store, right? You might never see that there's like hot sauce in purple hot sauce number 101, on the shelf, because you're not looking for it until you have a special recipe and it requires that. And then you have to look a little harder. You have to search the shelves, and then you see like, oh, it was there all along, and they keep it in stock. So plenty of people are using this thing, right? It's kind of like that with this. What I would encourage you to do, Laura, is to shop for and look for, where are women in their 50s that are new in their business, who retired and started their coaching, health and wellness business later in life? Where are those women? And I bet if you just ask that question, you'll probably find a couple. And then you'll get to prove to yourself that they exist just by kind of shopping for it. And then just challenge yourself again, to look at, can I believe that my business can be easy? Can I believe that it doesn't have to be a battle? And then if I do believe that, what potential arises? Because if you shift that, you're going to start to see a lot more potential and doors. And you said you feel lighter, your heart will just kind of open up, right? Because when we are so stuck in a belief and not even identifying that a belief is just kind of a false representation sometimes of something that we chose as a fact, but actually there may be other proof that exists around this topic, we see less potential for ourselves. And so we don't take the same types of action. If you believe that it's going to be hard, you're never going to want to sit down at your computer to work on your bio or to, send out a newsletter, because you're believing that it's going to be so hard. Whereas if you shift that and you say, you know what, this can be fun. I can take my time. The potential is, okay, maybe I'll try it today. I'm going to sit down for an hour and get that out. And then you get different results. And those results lead to believing, okay, maybe it's not as hard as I thought it is. So I just want to encourage you to just look at these things as beliefs and not give them credit and fact right away. And then start to look for and shop for the opposite of what you want. So if you were to kind of, after thinking about all this, think about, what do you want to believe instead? What would you like to be looking for or shopping for? What kind of things come up for you that feel like they would open up the potential that you see for yourself in your business?
I think back to what you said, women that are in a similar situation who have started later in life. women who took time off to raise their kids and, are at that next stage. I think that would be helpful to try to look for and find as well.
Awesome. I would love to see what comes up for you. I bet even if you typed that into Google, like life coach who took time off to take care of her kids and is starting at age 50, I almost guarantee an article, a person, an interview, something will show up now that you're just looking for it. And I would love to see how that shifts and just opens up your idea of what's really possible for you and your business.
I'm going to try that.
Awesome. Is there any other part of your question that you feel like we didn't dig into, or does that kind of get to the heart? Or does that give you a sense of where to start and an opening around this?
I think so. I think we really covered it. It seems like it's more of a belief system for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to tell you, just something to forward you. And actually, I might even link to some of my graduates below who started off. I've had over the past few years, at least 10 women in the last 2 years. Actually, a lot of them nurses. For some reason, that profession kind of leads well into coaching. Who are 50s and above. I had a woman who's 74 in my class, 3 in their 60s. And they have started successful coaching businesses. So I'm not just speaking to this from like a what if or maybe scenario. I've actually seen these women work through this same exact belief. And what I saw was that it was just a cover up for deeper things that needed healing. Deeper, we go to the surface one, the one that's, not as painful, or we don't have to take as much self-responsibility for. And I think if you're just willing to keep asking yourself when you bump up against a struggle, like, is this belief 100% fact? Is there any way that I might be falsifying what's true here? And what's happening beneath that? Like, what's the real thing I'm afraid of looking at? And if you keep doing that in your business, I think you'll keep brushing off and fine-tuning your diamond so that you just feel more confident and comfortable and aware of your own gifts and your own potential to your business.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. So I'll pass it off to you before we close. What was most valuable for you about this, or unexpected, or your biggest takeaway?
I think really just that I need to look at myself to maybe just take an inventory of those skills that I already have, as opposed to thinking in a lack perspective of what I don't have.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I would love to, just thinking about all your years of experience in motherhood and going, and you said you went back into corporate at this point as well. So
Yes.
You've already made the jump back into corporate after being,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So right there, that's already so brave and such a huge accomplishment, and so many lessons, I'm sure, that have emerged from that.
Definitely.
Beautiful, Laura. Thank you. And ladies listening, I know Laura and I would both appreciate hearing your perspective on this. If this is something that you struggle with, or if you had an aha or something that you moved through in witnessing our talk today and Laura bringing this vulnerable question, we'd love to hear it in the comments below, and we'll be there to comment and connect with you and learn from what you have to say too. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you, ladies. We'll see you next week. Do you want to become a confident and masterful life coach? Imagine feeling completely supported by a brilliant sisterhood while you launch your dream business and attain financial freedom. Mentor Masterclass is an all-in life coach training program for 40 women who are on a mission to learn from the best. You can join Mentor Masterclass at the beginning of any new month while spaces are available. Head on over to mentormasterclass.com to learn more about the training and apply now.